Among all the amazing outcomes from this election, this one stands out, at least to me. The man Trump picked to be his heir apparent is actually a better Trump than Trump is. I've been wrong so many times about the Donald that I've lost count. And when he picked J.D. Vance as his running mate, I thought it was a mistake. I thought he needed someone more middle of the road, maybe like the governor of Virginia, to help him make inroads into the electoral communities he was struggling with. Wrong. In choosing Vance, Trump made one of his signature, what seemed to be questionable calls, questionable to everyone but him, but it didn't take long for the call to start paying off. Vance quickly showed himself to be one of the most effective, quick-witted, and genuine politicians to come along in years.
And Senator Vance, I'm going to stop you because I know exactly what happened.
Martha.
I'm going to stop you. The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border?
The ultimate test of character for a politician, or for anyone really, is how they perform under duress. Vance turned out to be, in many ways, the anti-Harris waltz. While they stumbled over even the most softball questions in the friendliest forums imaginable, he was operating in the lion's den of the Democratic propaganda machine known as the legacy media. Keeping his cool, giving as good as he got, usually better, he was able to make coherent, conservative arguments in front of millions familiar only with rattling around in the liberal echo chamber. Not that many of them listened, they're much too far gone for that, maybe a few, you never know. But the main benefit of these exchanges was that for those even remotely able to see reason, the Trump derangement and general derangement of the legacy media was on full display. These exchanges became staples of what is becoming the real news business. Independent voices who aren't afraid to point out that the emperor has no clothes or consciousness, as the case may be. People thought that his childless cat lady quote would come back to haunt him. It didn't, because women who were listening understood he was not talking about the heartbreak of infertility, other factors beyond the control of those who wanted families, or just even a personal preference not to have kids. He was talking about the people who, in their selfishness and self-loathing, have convinced themselves that the United States is such a horrible, backward, racist place that they and their children would never be safe. Ironically, in some cases, they're right about that, but it's because of the imaginary dystopia they've created rather than anything done by Donald Trump or anyone else. Good riddance to those folks, says JD, and me too. By all means, deselect yourselves from the future genetic pool. We're all better off without you. No, Vance is not a racist or a misogynist or any of the ridiculous labels the left will try to pin on him in the coming years. But he does love life. He does love humans. He does want to pursue the policies that are best for humans. I know, sacrilege to the unhinged left. Now, I would be remiss if I did not point out the obvious. Some of the Vance economic priorities are deeply misguided. The idea that you can use the power of government to solve the problem of too much government is irrational and provably flawed. He's used the label conservatives to express support for the leftist Federal Trade Commissioner Lina Khan and her 1984-like attack on free enterprise. This is foolish and counterproductive. Hopefully he will learn over time. But bottom line, this is looking good. This is looking really good. Without the Trump baggage, a lot of it external and fake, but some of it self-imposed, Vance should have a clear field to win the presidency in 2028 and beyond. 12 more years, 12 more years, 12 more years.